Hello again, all you beautiful people of the world, people who are getting these beautiful voices of mine into your ear holes from YouTube, Google Play, and/or SoundCloud. Welcome back to the Gamers Corner. My name is Brendan Byberg, and again, I will be your host, talking about the wonderful world of video games. But before we start, I do apologize that I did miss last week's episode. I had some business to attend to, I had some family stuff to come out, so I am getting up on this Friday, and then next Friday will be another episode of the Gamers Corner. Also, people who want to listen to it on iTunes, I am having some issues with YouTube's podcast, or not YouTube's, iTunes podcasting stuff. It's not letting me upload. So as of right now, I'm doing it through YouTube, Google Play, and SoundCloud. So you can find them on there. But welcome back to the Gamer Zone, where we talk about anything in between with games, game consoles, game companies, and anything in between. Today we are talking about RPGs, MMORPGs, and dating simulators. We'll be taking some time for each section. We'll be talking about our MMORPGs first, then RPGs, and then dating simulators last. So this might be about 50 to an hour long. As I always say, they're going to be about 45 minutes to an hour long videos, basically, because it all depends on how long I can talk without destroying my voice. So, to start us off, we were talking about the beautiful and wonderful world known as MMORPGs, or Massive Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Games. Massive Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Games are very popular nowadays. I never really personally got into them, but they're really popular nowadays. They've got, like, I don't think they're considered it, but you've got, like, Dungeons and Dragons, Dragon Age, Wizard Quest, all that kind of stuff that are online. Like, you got Goat Simulator did an MMORPG, where you got to play, like, wizards and all that stuff. You got, like, what was it? Wizards 101 was a massive multiplayer online role-playing game. Like, those kind of games were massive multiplayer because they banked on the idea of, like, you were very, like, really cool. You could do whatever you want. But nowadays, massive multiplayer online games really aren't doing so well. Much being said of Fallout 76. I will bring into games like examples of Fallout 76, a couple other MMORPGs, and stuff that are good, stuff that are bad, and stuff that I personally enjoy. But Fallout 76 was a really, really bad title this year. Coming out in November to December, I forget the timeline specifically. It came out broken and bugged beyond belief. It was basically, you had to... The problem with MMORPGs nowadays, or the problem with this game in particular, Fallout 76, was that you could purchase Fallout, like atoms, which are basically like credits that you could purchase to get like style, design, stuff like that. But the problem is that with the idea you could also purchase, like Fallout 76 had nuclear codes, so you could nuke a massive building. You could nuke like a city, you could nuke like a village or a place that needed to be touched. You could nuke a place like that. You could nuke that. The problem was that rich people, people who had enough money, could go, you know what, I'm going to shell out my money and purchase nuke codes and then literally fuck people over. The problem with 76, like the problem with nowadays MMORPGs, is that you can pay to progress. As I call it, PTP. Basically, which is pay to progress. And that being said, I don't prefer the pay to progress. I prefer the PTP 2, which is play to progress. I go through the game personally. I don't buy anything. If there's something like I have to purchase, like, okay, I'll purchase it with my own money. But if I don't have to, I'm good. Like DLC, I'll purchase because it gives me a little bit more of a storyline. But pay to progress is basically like, you know what, a rich person, like say me, for example, this thing got picked up by Maximum Fun or any of the other podcasting companies that bring on other podcasts to bring them into the show. But like that kind of stuff. Say I became rich off this podcast. Just saying, because this is episode 2. I don't think I'm ever going to become popular off this. But say I did. I bought Fallout 76. I'm like, okay, you know what? So I'm going to take $200. I'm going to buy the best weapons, the best armor, and the best guns. People, as Bethesda states, it is only cosmetics. But that being said, it wasn't really. But I could purchase, like, hey, I'm going to purchase the best weapons, best armor. And what I can do is I can stand outside of like Vault 76, and I can just mow down anyone I want. I can mow it down as hard as I can. Basically, that what annoys me. It's like pay to progress are people who basically are like, you know what, I'm going to purchase the game, and then I'm going to purchase the game, purchase over $100 worth of upgrades and points, cosmetic upgrade my character, and make myself badass, and then mow everyone down. Pay to progress is basically a company's like, hey, we did a shit job on the main game, give us money, and we will give you free and good items to basically let you purchase stuff you want. It's like, you know what, we're gonna pay to progress you, let you do whatever you want, but you have to give us like $1,000 to $2,000 to get good things. And people who are rich can do that. That's what pisses me off. People who are rich basically are like, you know what, I'll shell out $1,000, I'll shell out millions of money to basically get what they want. Me personally, though, I am a play to progress person. If I'm getting an MMORPG or a role-playing game, I will play to progress the game. I will go through the story, go through all the side quests, get anything I can to basically progress the game. Like with, what is it? There's a game, I forget what it was. Wizard 101, you can pay, like it says free to play, but you like get a specific amount of free to play stuff. I'm like, hey, you can bring a lot of free to play stuff out on the stuff. Like, hey, I'm going to give you like the first world. They have the play to progress, but you have to do so much in the play to progress to move the story through the game. However, you can purchase a membership, which is the pay to progress, and it unlocks everything for you. You can do the story, but the membership is monthly. So I could pay $30, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to pay $30. And you know what? I'm going to pay $30. I'm going to be able to pay to progress. So I can spend $30, or I can do the free to play, but free to play game and progress it my way. That is basically my understanding of how I play. Other people do like to play to progress, which I can understand, but play to progress, and if people don't like my opinion, it's my opinion. As I say, each to their own. But my opinion is I feel that play to progress is kind of a cheap move, that you don't want to get the full story, so you're going to pay to progress past most of the good stuff, most of the meat of a game, to get what you want. Play to progress is my personal thing. I'm going to ramble on about this in most RPGs and dating simulator stuff like that have come out in the recent future. But like MMORPGs and RPGs nowadays have the pay to progress scenario. Yeah, you can pay $200 to $300 and go, you know what? I'm going to pay to progress. And I'm going to pay to progress what I want. So I'm going to skip the meat of the game, and I'm going to move basically over into the pay to progress scenario and move over and become very popular with the pay to progress people. And the problem is, with Fallout 76, they said it was only cosmetic. But with their release of the characters you could buy, like there was a group, like a week event that you could purchase like specific costumes with atoms, mind you, pay to progress, was basically you could purchase atoms, which is their currency in the game, to buy these costumes. And if people had 4 different costumes on, you could basically go, you know what, it gives you 60% extra health. So it's 15 each. So if I were to do with me, my friend, his friend, and her friend, all were wearing different outfits from the specific week, we get 60% extra health. Which basically was a cool thing, but it only lasted a week. Pay to progress is basically a system of you get the item, you pay for it, but you only have a limited time to use them. That's what annoys me. It's like, you know what? Limited time to use, limited time to do what you want, limited time, so on and so forth. So basically, me, I am more of a play to progress gentleman. And most MMORPGs now are actually quite cool. I prefer MMORPGs. I don't like them. They're not my forte, but they are other people's fortes, and I can understand why. They are really cool. They are really nice. They're really badass, so on and so forth. But the statement basically being, MMORPGs are for one person's preference while they're someone else's preference. Like I prefer. There was a what was it? There Goat Simulator made a joke on an MMORPG, which I found quite funny. It was basically Goat Simulator was a game where you played as a goat. You played as a goat basically, and you could knock things over and wreck shit. You get points for it. And they updated the game. They did a MMORPG style game. They did zombie theme. They did a Kickstarter campaign, kind of like the Kickstarter business. Like you could basically be kickstarting or be very popular with Kickstarter. Like, hey, you got to give me a specific amount of money to basically be a Kickstarter campaign person. Like Kickstarter is a very good way, and I might drone off a bit, so don't mind me. You could skip ahead if you want, but don't mind me. But Kickstarter is, they made a joke on Kickstarter basically. Like some companies or some people, some companies such as like there are some companies which I don't mean to be rude about, but there are some companies in the MMORPG world basically that state, or basically in the Kickstarter world, that you give us money, we will produce a game for you. But there are some companies who are like, you know, you're going to get the money, but we're going to cancel the game altogether. They get the money from the people, but then the game gets pulled. The game gets shut down, so on and so forth. The game kind of doesn't sell well, or that kind of stuff. But there are some games on Kickstarter that do really well. So MMORPGs are basically the idea that they have to do so much stuff to basically build off your character. And I like that. I find that quite interesting. But I do MMORPGs. If I do an MMORPG, I'm going to do play to progress. Because I don't want to, shell out thousands and thousands of dollars every other month to basically keep my pay to progress items and basically keep me doing what I do. My philosophy is if I can play to progress a game, I will play to progress a game. I will not pay to progress because it just annoys me. But the other thing about MMORPGs is the cringe. There's a lot of cringe centered around an MMORPG, basically stating that the MMORPG world is full of some cool, slick guys who love those kind of games. They're big fans of it, and I understand that. But then you have, so like here, the tier system goes as follows. You have the high-level people who love our MMORPGs. They're amazing. And then you get the medium players, the coolio players, the people who are like, okay, I'm getting it, but I'm not used to it. You then got the low players like, okay, I'm liking this game, I'm going to get a bit angry. But then you have the scum of the MMORPG world. And I'm not saying any of my listeners are the scum of an MMORPG, if anyone listens to this. But you are not scum. You might be in Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, Tier 4. You might be the people who get upset if you die. MMORPGs are basically built on the idea that if you kill someone, you can kill them. You can kill them and build a world around it. Like, okay, I'm going to kill you, but I'm going to get your stuff. And there are people who are like, okay, you know what? You killed me. I'm going to get upset and I'm going to ban you. And there are people, I've dealt with this before. If you do one thing wrong and you piss off the person, they can say, oh, you know what? I'm banning you for this. But the problem is with banning, they have to have proof you did this. And I hate, they're also like the kids, like the little kids. You're like, oh, my dad bought this for me. And I'm so excited to be able to play it. Oh my God, I'm going to be able to play it and be able to do what I want. And then they get upset if they die. Like, oh, I died. I hate this game. And then they toss it and they go play Fortnite. Stuff like that. But MMORPGs are very high. I'm a medium player, if I'm being honest. I'm really shit at MMORPGs. I really suck at them. I'm horrendous at them. I am like tier level 0. I am tier level 1. I'm okay with them. I like them, but I'm really bad at them. I'm like really, really bad at them. Like if I were to go in and I die, I'm like, okay, I died. Try again. And then I get up and I die again. I'm like, okay, I suck. Try again. So on and so forth. So, my thoughts on MMORPGs are basically the idea that they're good in their own way. They're popular in their own way. They get a following in their own way. But I personally am not a big fan of them. I don't like them. I suck at them. I'm really bad at them. So on and so forth. But next on the agenda, we're talking about RPGs, role-playing games, such as Wizard 101, Fallout. The Fallout series actually is a very good scenario of role-playing games. You've got, what was it, Far Cry New Dawn just released, and that is a role-playing game. And that does a very good job on the role-playing game, because role-playing games are the idea that you have to collect. It's a collect-a-thon. You can collect stuff to build stuff. And with Far Cry 5, I'm going to bring up a couple games. Far Cry 5 is a really good idea of actually doing an RPG. No, not Far Cry 5. Far Cry New Dawn is a very good idea of building a really good RPG around a story. So they built the story first and then built the RPG element around it. Because I've done, 2 videos of it now? Yeah, I have a YouTube channel as well. Byberg Gaming. Yeah, I'm plugging my channel on my podcast. 10 out of 10. But basically the idea is that you have a story. And you have to work to save this group of people from the villains, of course. Most Far Cry games have 1 villain. Some have 4, some have 2. But you have to basically defeat the villains and save this world. Of course, that being said, there are some issues while trying to save the world without dying. And I die a lot in those kind of games. That's why the Byberg Gaming motto, or my motto, is good gaming, gone bad. But the idea is basically you have to build. You can build guns. You can build guns. You can build guns, cars, weapons, armor, so on and so forth. You can build that kind of stuff, and that does well in of its own, of course. You can do it well, but you have to do it right. Me, I don't do it right. I suck at it. I've done Far Cry for a couple. I played Far Cry 4, Far Cry 5. Yes, Far Cry 5. Far Cry 4, Far Cry 5, Far Cry 3. I'm gonna do New Dawn right now, but I'm bad at these games. I always do I do easy because I prefer the story. I'm one of those gamers who doesn't want the hardness. I prefer the story more than I do the hardness, because it basically gives me at least an idea of what I want to build. It basically gives me the right idea of what I want to do in my life. Build the story, work the story, and basically do what I want in the story. That is my idea. I have to do it in the story. Because if I do it in the story, I'm much better with the idea of a story. I prefer the story more than I do like the fighting, because the story is where the meat is. I mean, the side quests and the other stuff are also where the meat is, but it's mainly centered around the idea of the story, that you have to do the story precisely. If you don't do the story precisely, you can fuck up. With Far Cry games, it's basically you do this right or you can fuck up the world for the worst. I know, because in Far Cry 5, I fucked up the world for the worst, because I was not a very good gamer at the time, and I wanted to kill myself. Don't do what I'm doing. I'm just saying in general, I got so angry at the game, I literally wanted to murder and rip apart the game, because it was that bad. It wasn't that bad. I was that bad. I was really, really shitty at the game. Like 100%, 99.9% shit. I was that bad. I died, several thousand times? And also, another good example of an RPG is Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, stuff like that. They do a very good job on the RPG element, because you can do good guy, bad guy, romance, love, so on and so forth. You can build up the idea of being a good guy or a bad guy. And if you want to be a good guy, you could be a good guy. If you want to be a bad guy, you could be a bad guy. I prefer just going the neutral route. I was not going to be rude. I was not going to be mean. I was not going to be evil. But I was going to be what I wanted to be. Basically, the idea was that if I could do what I wanted, I could do what I wanted. And if I wanted to do what I wanted, I could do what I want. So I basically decided to be good most of the time. I refused. The only time I ever would be evil, or if I ever want to be evil, is if someone would annoy me, I'd just take my shotgun and go bang, bang, bang. So on and so forth. But But yeah, the basic gist of those kind of games is they're fun in their own right. They could you as I always say, it's not the game's fault if you suck. My scenario is it's user error. If you suck, if the game sucks, then you suck. But if you suck, the game sucks. But if the game sucks, then you know what to do. So on and so forth. The basic idea is that if I can build a pretty good world, I can build a pretty good world. If I can build a shitty world, I'm going to do it. A very good example of a really 100% 10 out of 10 RPG. I don't think it's considered an RPG, but I don't know who am I to judge. I'm just spewing out my mouth. But a very good idea of an RPG is Minecraft. I don't think it's considered an RPG, but I will count it as a role-playing game because you're building your own world. Minecraft is a very good job because you can actually build a home, build a base, take over the world, and build what you want, and basically construct a home out of it. And if you want to construct a home, you can. If you don't, you don't. But me, I build a home. I would basically find a mountain, and I would basically build a base into a mountain. Because the idea is that a mountain, under that mountain is a mine. So under that mountain I could build a mine. So I could basically build my house, and then connect to it, adjacent to it, build a mine. And with that mine, I can construct, like Minecraft did a thing where basically it was a good idea to build the world. You can build it the way you want it, of course. But the idea was if you didn't do it well, I didn't do it right. And you could die if you didn't have a good house. Because wooden doors, zombies could break through. Metal doors, zombies can't. But it all depends on how good your crafting skills are. And with Minecraft, it's still popular today. It's basically one of the biggest games that I would play on my channel, as well as doing other things for other people on their channel. Like I play it in my free time. I build up a beautiful kingdom, or I basically build up a mansion out of wood. I sometimes do creative in like a flat space, because with flat spaces you can build anything. Flat spaces, you can take a flat space and you can build a mountain range out of it. You can build a mountain range out of Minecraft. You can build it that way. And that is, with a mountain range, you can do that well. As I said, if I ramble, don't mind it. I'm going to ramble a lot in these kind of podcasts because I'm a rambler. And I go ramble. But I ramble a lot. So if I ramble, you guys can skip ahead to the next section, which is going to be the dating simulators, such as like Dream Daddy, Arcade Spirits. That I'll talk about because that is one of my personal favorite games right now. So on and so forth. Minecraft, you could basically do the idea that you could build a world. If you could build the world right, you could bend the world to your will. If you didn't build the world right, the world would screw you over. That's basically the idea. The world would screw you over in more of the ways than one. And if it screwed you over, it screwed you over hard. It screwed you over hard and fast. That was the basic idea. And if you did it well, you could bend the world and you could screw the world over. Like with me, I built... Now, Minecraft has a couple things. They have the Minecraft, the main, which is the vanilla pack. The vanilla, which is basically the original Minecraft. Then they got Technic pack, which is basically bending the world to your will, which you could just basically take a quarry, and you could build the quarry to your advantage. You could basically take, you know what, I'm going to not mine, but I'm going to build a machine to mine for me. I'm going to build pipes, and I'm going to do that, and then that, and then that, and then that, and so on, and so forth. Now, the basic idea with Minecraft is you were trying to reach the end, which was the last thing you had to do, but that took several attempts to do, because if you didn't do it right, you screwed yourself over. If you did it wrong, if you did it right, you did well. If you didn't do it right, you screwed yourself over and you died by Enderman, the Ender Dragon, so on and so forth. But of course, I ramble. Minecraft and Fallout and a couple other RPGs I don't know the names of on hand do really well in the scenario of RPG stuff like that, where you can build an RPG world out of your own imagination. You can build it the way you want it, build it the way everyone else wants it, and that stuff. Alright, I can check off RPGs off our list. And we're now moving on to the dating simulators, or as I call them, DS. Dating simulators. And dating simulators have become very popular nowadays. You've got like Monster Prom, which is a dating simulator. You've got Arcade Spirits, which is a dating simulator. You've got Dream Daddy, which is a very popular dating simulator, as it does itself well. It basically builds the idea that you are a dad, and you can date other dads. And these other dads can date you, or they can reject you. So on and so forth. Basically, the idea is that with a dating simulator, you can do it right. And you can basically go, you know what, I like you, I'm going to go on a couple dates with you. I'm going to smooch you so hard. If I can smooch you, I'm going to smooch you. If I can't smooch you, I can't smooch you. So on and so forth. But like basically the idea is that, what was it? Monster Prom has actually just recently popped up with its second year. Its second year is basically a term where you get more characters, more stuff like that, so on and so forth. But the basic, like you could date like a werewolf, you can date like a demon, you can date like a ghost, you can date like a Medusa. I think you can date a zombie as well. I'm not sure. You can basically date a zombie. You can date like a witch or a flame lady. I'd rather smooch Damien the Demon, who is a very sweet boy. But the basic idea is that most games like that kind of stuff, like you can date them, you can smooch them, you can hug them, you can kiss them, so on and so forth. I say so on and so forth a lot. Here's an idea. Take a shot every time I say so on and so forth. That's another shot. How drunk are you right now? 12? Huh. I don't think that's an actual number how drunk you are, but that is fine. I approve of how drunk you are, and how I approve of how super duper uber drunk people can get. But I don't approve of drinking and driving, so don't drink and drive, kids. Brendan Byberg, a fact of the day. Don't drink and drive. Brendan Byberg, fact of the day. Ding! That kind of stuff. But basic, what else? So sometimes there are games that incorporate MMORPGs with dating. Like Monster Prom actually has online mode where you can go and you can bring your friends on and smooch all the ghosts and goblins and smooch them so hard. Give them all the smooches. Give them all the good smoochins. And let them know that you love to smooch. Because that is that your friends could screw you over. That was the biggest fun part about that game. Your friends could screw you over in that game. Because basically they're like, you know what? He likes this guy. He likes werewolf guy. You know what? I'm going to sit near werewolf guy and I'm going to smooch him. I'm going to smooch werewolf guy because I like werewolf guy. And like, dude, what the fuck? I like werewolf guy. How dare you? Like, you snooze, you lose, bro. Smooching. Haha. Also, in the RPG world, there are some very good, very popular, like, board game RPGs. We can bring up gaming corners, basically. The gamers' corners, basically, are anything with games such as tabletop gaming, video games like D&D. Dungeons and Dragons. The most very, very, very popular, still very popular, scenario where you can make your own character. You can traverse the world or whatever you want. You can create your own world, so on and so forth. As another shot, ladies and gentlemen, you know the drill. But Dungeons and Dragons has become very popular nowadays because of people actually take the idea of Dungeons and Dragons and slip it into a podcast, like the Drunks and Dragons, the Adventure Zone, so on and so forth. What was it? I think it was the Bardcast. What else? You got the Bardcast. You've got Chasm Quest, stuff like that. They're the people who. The idea is that they're the people who build up a correction or world, and they can mold themselves to that world or work around what the adventurers decide to do. If the adventurers decide to take control of the ship, they can do that. If they don't, well, they don't. But like D&D has become a very popular RPG game and all that. Just back on to the idea of dating simulator. The next dating simulator in the cast is Arcade Spheres. Just recently released on Steam and itch.io, or itch.io as some people tend to call it. It is a dating game where you're dating in the year 20XX. So on and that kind of stuff. But basically the idea is you can date people such as Teo, which is a sweet little dancing boy who gives all my love and smooches. Or you can date like a British guy, or like the manager, sub-manager of the place, and that kind of stuff. That does well because it basically gives you, as voice acting, and actually gives you the choice that you can be nice, or you can be really, really sassy. And I don't like being sassy. I like being nice. I prefer like, hey, I gotta do my job. I'm working here. I gotta have you clear out. It's part of my position, so on, and that kind of stuff. And the last RPG game we're going to talk about today is Dream Daddy. Dream Daddy does quite well because it's a dating game where you get to date dad bods. You can do really well, or you can do like really shitty. Like some of the dads can reject you, some of the dads can love you and smooch you. And you have to do specific items to get like the eggplants, which are the very hit one. And let's see. And RPGs, MMORPGs, and dating games all done. Well, guys, this is a little bit shorter than normal, about 31 minutes. But as I said, the idea with like the Gamers Corner, you can talk, but once you run out of stuff to talk about, you kind of have to end the episode. But thank you guys so much for watching, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening, not watching. People who listen to it on YouTube, you can listen to it there. Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 2, MMORPGs, dating games, and RPG stuff. In the next episode, we will be, I do want to hit on the Arcade Crash. Which is going to be the next episode, which is going to be the Arcade Crash, which will be very much a longer episode because it gives you more time to talk about the Arcade Crash. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, make sure you guys hit that start button and insert more coins. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys!